Hello Exiles, and welcome to my Path of Exile Bootcamp series, where we are going through everything that is POE1 related. Now, whether you are a returning player, a new player, or maybe you just want to see what Path of Exile is like, then this guide series is for you. And in today's video, we're going to be going through all of the quality of life changes that have been added into Path of Exile regarding the lockers, affinities, and everything to do with like stashes, auras, and everything that's been done over the last 12 months to try and help the quality of life in Path of Exile 1. Now, before we jump into the content, I just want to say thank you for everyone that has subscribed to my channel over the last couple of months. And if you have not subscribed and you've just found the channel, then by all means, throw me some support if you are enjoying these videos or this bootcamp guide series if it has helped you, or maybe it's helped somebody else. By all means, throw me a subscribe and it would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, let's jump into this video. So first things first, let's talk about affinities. Now, every single premium stash tab and even some of the regular tabs, I believe, will have what's called an affinity. So if you right click any tab, it will then add a series of affinities, and there's everything from blight to delirium to currency to essence to uniques. Now, if you buy any premium stash tab, so for example, if you buy the currency stash tab like this one, you can literally right click and it will automatically have a little currency button here that you can then tick. What that will then mean is if I take a bunch of currency here, let's say we then switch down here to some random tab, when I then control click this into my inventory, it will automatically all go into this tab automatically, and they do that for nearly every single one. So for example, there's the fragments for fossils, they've got fossils for delve and for essences, things like that. So that is all locked in to the actual tabs themselves. This also does apply to lockers as well. So if you have a heist locker, you can click this little button at the bottom down here and it will then tick it. So if you have pick up any contracts or any rogue markers, then you can literally put them in your stash over here and it will automatically transfer them over to this locker. This also applies to your expedition locker. So if you get any logbooks or any currencies or anything like that, then any reroll currencies, then tick this little box at the bottom and they will automatically go into there. The next thing, which is quite a big thing, is that in Path of Exile 1, you probably noticed that we have quite a few flasks. Now we have multiple utility flasks. Now you do not have the option of having a utility flask in Path of Exile 2. We had charms. In Path of Exile 1, we have all different types of utility flasks. So we have evasion rating flasks, armor flasks, more evasion rating flasks. We have onslaught flasks, phasing flasks, cold resistance flasks, fire, lightning, everything. We've got more damage with Bottled Faith. We have ones that can increase your onslaught and make you immune to certain types of freeze, chill, and curses. We have ones that give you chaos res. Yeah, the list is endless. There's ones that give you elemental resistances. There's ones that give you a ton of armor. There's ones that give you rarity. Yeah, I'm sure that you'll find all of them, but yeah, this is literally like a full exhaustive list. There are some that are unique, and then there are some that are literally just magic. They cannot go any higher than magic. That is the max that they can do, and obviously you can have up to 4, and obviously it's best to have a life. Unless you're running energy shield, then you don't need a life, and you could literally just run all 5 as utility flasks. Now I know that this has recently just been added into Path of Exile 2, but we have a map tab. Now obviously this is a premium one, so you will need to buy this. Basically every single map is in here, and I hope that they do the change that they've just added to Path of Exile 2, where every single tab has its own little subfolders. So because that would be awesome, because you could name them 1, 2, you could name them to do with what's corrupted, what's rare, what's bricked, and what you want to sell. That would be amazing. Next thing is if you want to move an entire currency into your inventory, if you hold control and then press right click, it will then fill your entire inventory in one button. If you then want to put all of this back into your inventory, if you do the exact same action, control and right click, it will just put it all back in again. Now this also works with trading as well. So if you want to move, let's say, I don't know, 100 divines, you can literally just control right click and it will move them all into the trade window all at the same time, and it will make trading so much faster. The next one is for spamming fusings and jewelers. If you literally get a jewelers, if you right click it on an item and then hold down control and then hold down left click, it will then just keep spamming it until you gain the maximum amount of sockets. And this is obviously for all items. So if I want to try and get a 6 sockets on this bow, I'm literally just holding down my left button and holding down control, and you can just keep doing this until you run out of jewelers orbs, or you eventually get a 6 socket like that. This is also the same with 6 link infusings. So if you want to obviously do fusings, you could just hold down control and it will just keep going until you actually get a 6 link. Let's see if RNG gods to one of praises and give us a 6 link. Let's see how many this takes. I'm hoping that it doesn't take too long, because we've gone through 100 nearly. That is 100. Let's try and see if we can get them in 200. Oh, come on. The ratio can be up to nearly 1,500 fusings. I've seen people also throw nearly 5,000 at an item to try and get a 6 link. And by the way, I am literally just doing this for this video, so I'm just doing this for the memes. And yeah, we've still not hit it, and we've probably gone through a good 300-400 fusings up to now. Now, bearing in mind, there is another thing to know. The quality on this item is not maxed. Quality has a massive difference. So let's add some quality to it, and then let's see if it has a big difference. Let's try again. Let's go. Hopefully, pray. We started at 4,000, so I will hold on to this and we'll see how long it takes, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, well, I'm going to stop there. We've just been 500 fusings and we still did not get it. That is how rare it is. Another thing is, when we eventually get our Atlas skill tree back, there is actually 3 different loadouts that you are going to be able to do. So you can change your skill tree 3 different times and have completely 3 different loadouts, which when you then go to your map device, you can actually pick from the left hand side here, Atlas skill tree 1, 2 or 3. And you can actually rename them so you know which is which just by this little pen here. The rest of the quality of life, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to put a video in now. I'm going to clip a segment from one of my last quality of life videos where I went through auras and we went through a bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to put that in now and I'll come back to you at the end. Now, the first one that we're going to be discussing here is in relation to the auras that we have. So annoyance that we usually have is when we have auras and skills and reservation skills. Whenever we died, we have to turn them all on again. Now, once we die, they are all permanently still on. That is going to be a big quality of life and have to save me turning everything on and off again. The next one is a very quick one, and that is just harvest. So instead of you having to click harvest twice to instigate, you now just click it once and it will instantly start. So for any harvest enjoyers out there who are always clicking twice and it bugs the hell out of them, you are now only have to click once, which is amazing. Next one, which is going to be amazing for the speedrunners or for anyone that's running through the axe, we now have to be near waypoints proximately, and we will then gain those waypoints. So you don't ever have to forget to click it, you just need to walk near it and you will now obtain that waypoint. As everyone knows, the dreaded Act 4 waypoint can sometimes kill you. Next one is the quality of change with quality in terms of whetstones. Now, whetstones and the likes of qualities now are based on the actual item level of the piece of gear. So if your item level is very high, then it will only give you between 1 and 2%, whereas if your item level is very low, i.e. within the first act or so, it will just straight up give you 20%, which, if you can imagine, at the beginning of early game, that is very helpful in terms of getting armor and getting early stats for survivability. This in itself will also cascade through to maps, which I will show at the end of the video. Next one that we're going to go through now is the increased pickup range that they have included on the actual game itself. So you now have longer arms and you can now reach even further, and as you can see here, he demonstrates how big of a distance you now have compared to what it used to be, which will help if you ever get any items stuck that may be on terrain or anything. Next one that they've discussed is the new amulet anoints. Now, they have included a new prismatic oil, which, as you can see here, he does describe it is only obtainable within blighted maps and ravaged blighted maps. But with this new prismatic oil, you are now able to obtain these new anoints. He does specify that they are special anoints. This one, as you can see, is connected to elusive, and there is another one here that is connected to traps and mine detonation cooldown recovery. For any trap lovers out there, you are going to love that. And the next one they went through is the Bandit change, which is probably the biggest change of them all, which I think has kind of stirred a few hornets' nests in terms of people that are liking it and people that are disliking it. So previously you would get 2 passive skill points. Now if you help Oak, you get life. If you help Alira, you get 15 all res, and if you help Caitlyn, you will get 8% movement speed. Now if you kill all 3 of them, you will now only get 1 passive skill point rather than 2. However, the Felshine Rune's Golden Hand job, which obviously as we know at the beginning of League is now a skill point, so everyone, if you want that skill point, you are going to have to do that task, and we all know the Golden Hand job always appears on League launch day, so you can then do that task and you will then get a 2nd skill point, so you are not any worse off in terms of skill points. And the last thing that I wanted to run through is there was a post on Reddit in regards to quality on maps. So they have obviously explained here that the quality on whetstones and black armor scraps has changed, the same has happened with chisels. Now as you can see in the background here, it shows that with white maps you only need to use 1 chisel, for yellow maps you would need to use 2, and for red maps you would need to use 4. So as you can see here, this is something that obviously is going to be very helpful. I would assume that this is all maps that are white, so as you can imagine, previously we would only use 4 chisels per white map, as in whether it was yellow or red. They have now made that a bit better for early maps and not so punishing, so when you are doing early maps you only need to use 1 or 2 chisels rather than 4. And that is basically it in terms of quality of life, guys. I've only gone through a lot of the stuff that's been changed over the last 12 months, but they are the biggest, some of the most biggest changes that have been done, and some of them were an absolute godsend when they were added into the game, and I'm very surprised that they've not moved all of them across to POE2, because some of them are just very basic. It's like the bulk currencies, that would just be a very quick switch over, but they have not ported it over. Until the next video, guys, where I'm going to be going through every single third-party tool, website and things that you should be using within Path of Exile while it's running. Thank you for watching and stay sane.